Hello, everyone. Forever Blue Shirts TV welcomes the architect of the 1994 Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers, Neil Smith, to the show. How are you doing, sir? It's so good to see you.
Oh, thank you. It's good to see you too, and it's good to be here. No, I'm doing great. Beautiful hot weather starting down here in South Carolina, but I have my little New York shrine behind me, and so I can always turn and feel like I'm back home in New York.
Well, it looks good behind you, and it's fitting that you're in front of that Rangers logo. So, because I can't believe it's been 29 years since that amazing night, right? The memories are still so vivid in my mind. It feels like yesterday. So, what stands out in your mind about that run?
Oh, so many things, but I think if you go right down to the actual game and the buzzer and so on, I think those last few minutes where I had the head of security for the Garden, his name was Al Young, great guy. Son is actually the head of security for Commissioner Bettman for many years. And Al has since passed away, but Al and I were friends, and I said to him, if we're winning with 5 minutes to go, would you come and get me and bring me down to the seats where my mom and my wife and everybody is? Because I never sat in the seats. And he did that, and we went down, and it was 3-2, and everybody was nervous, and we went through the icing call and all that other stuff, and the buzzer going and the euphoria, and I remember that part so well, and running out onto the ice, to talk to individual players and stuff. That was all great. I pretty much remember everything from the whole start, when it began with the 6-0 with the Islanders, and then the Washington series, and then the grueling Devils series, and then the up and down Vancouver series, which was like only the Rangers could make it last 7 games and win by 1 goal when having a 3-1 lead in the playoffs. And so the Rangers had to do it the tough way, like they've done everything for decades. But it was certainly exhilarating, and there's no comparison, winning in New York City compared to winning somewhere else. I mean, I hate to put it like that, and I'm not degrading winning anywhere else. It's all a fabulous accomplishment, but the sheer magnitude of the win in New York, with the population base of so many people, and it being in such a small area of the Metro New York area, is just an exhilaration like nowhere else.
It's funny as you bring it up. You kind of stole my thunder on an upcoming question, because I vividly remember seeing you in the stands. Okay, MSG Network cameras actually caught you in the stands, and I have to tell you, you looked really nervous, and I wouldn't blame you, because I'm sitting in my seat watching the game in the comfort of my own home, and I can't sit. I'm standing. I'm pacing. I'm losing. I mean, it's a 3-2 game, and
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, I can only imagine what it must be like to be the general manager of this team, what it must be like to be Neil Smith at that moment, because you're not on the ice. You've got as much control as I do at this point, watching the game, right? The players are on the ice. They don't have time to be nervous. I'm worried about my next shift, doing my job. Coach is the same thing. They're all, who's going out next? What, do my job. But you just have to sit there and watch it. And I'm saying, this poor guy probably aged like 10 years between Messier's guarantee in Game 6 and the double overtime in Game 7 with Matteau's goal, and then seeing this. I mean, how do you even manage all your emotions when you're that's going on?
Yeah, and you can't. And in fact, I can't remember how I got from the Zalapukin goal to the Matteau goal and kept my sanity, because and it was 2 overtime. It was a second overtime. So you're praying and you're hoping and you're positive thinking and you're doing all those things that every Ranger fan does. I'm doing the same thing. And to think that just one lucky shot, one bad shot, one break, and we're done again, like again for year 54. And so, yeah, I mean, all you do is just swallow hard and hope and pray. That's all you can do.
I spoke to Bernie Nichols a couple of months ago. He was promoting his book, and we talked about that series. And Bernie Nichols, even though they lost, called that the greatest playoff series he's ever played in. And I think that series against the Devils is probably the greatest playoff series of all time. I don't know if there's one better. I'm sure another fan base will pick their series as the greatest of all time. But as somebody who has watched so much hockey since the 80s, I can't put my finger on a better series. It was that good.
No, I mean, and it ends in overtime, which is the ultimate climax of anything. I remember vividly the Pittsburgh Islanders series in 1982. It was a best of 5, and Pittsburgh had the Islanders down 2-1. Islanders won game 4, and they came back to the island for game 5, and John Tonelli ended up getting the winning goal for the Islanders. I don't believe it was overtime, though. I might be wrong, but it was one of those series too where, when you won that, you're almost a team of destiny then. And that's what it sort of felt like with the Rangers beating the Devils, although we certainly made it into a tough series with the Canucks, even though we badly outplayed them in game 1, 2, 3, and 4.
McLean stole
Game 5, we, sort of messed up, and then game 6, we went out there and messed up, and then had 2 days off, thankfully, and came back and played really well at home. But yeah, it was the Devils series was just amazing, and the Devils were the second best team in the league.
Yep,
they really were.
They were outstanding. So it's almost like every year, like around 1994, I watch clips, or I'll watch some of my old recordings. And, I like to watch. I think my favorite part is just the on-ice celebration and the locker room celebration. And it's kind of burned in my brains. But during the on-ice celebration, Mark Messier hands you the Stanley Cup, hands it to you on the bench. After you raise it in the air triumphantly, you pass it on to Colin Campbell. At that moment, the cameras catch you and Mess in a long hug, and there's definitely some words exchanged. Do you remember what you said to each other? I mean, the smiles on your faces were from ear to ear.
I don't remember the exact words, but I can almost guarantee you that it was me saying thank you to him for doing this, and him saying something like thank you to me for believing in me or something, because he wrote on that picture that I have on my wall, which even to me is unbelievable that I got this kind of a compliment from Mark. He wrote, "Thanks for believing in me," which is hard to digest when you're me, because you would say, well, who wouldn't believe in you? But then again, a lot of people didn't believe maybe in him in those years back then, or believe that, he could lead you somewhere. I did, it was also, I had a lot on the line over it, but to answer your question, Anthony, I think I was probably saying thank you, because obviously without the players, you don't win anything, so the players are the cup, not us. We just put them in the place where they can play, and then it's all up to them.